welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Remember, the market sentiment remains cautious as the headline indices just ended with marginal gains on Tuesday. But it is the broader markets where all the action is. The mid-caps continue to make all-time highs and the small-cap index is just about 200 points away. So what lies ahead for the markets ahead of the weekly options expiry? We'll discuss all of it. But first up, the top headlines this hour. Indian stocks likely to be range-bound on Wednesday as traders await directions from two major macro events, the US Fed's Jackson speech and the Reserve Bank of India's minutes of the meeting to be released later this week. Cash stocks abuzz with intense buying. All eyes across the globe are watching the pride of India, ISRO, today, as more than 1 billion hopes and wishes pray for the successful landing of Chandrayaan-3 on the moon's surface at 6:04 p.m. Very good morning to all our viewers and very good morning to you, Shail. Well, that's absolutely right. Whether or not the Indian stock markets are at an all-time high, but India is poised to be at an all-time high today with Chandrayaan-3, and that is what we are hoping for. On the markets for sure, it's been the same script over the last 2 weeks, if I have to say. The Nifty has been attempting to cross the 19,400, 500 range on the upside, but failing to do so on an everyday basis. Are there any signs of a breakout of this range?
Good morning, Sakshi. Good morning to all our viewers who have joined us on this fabulous Wednesday morning. It's T-1, remember, and the reverse countdown has already started on the surface of our most immediate celestial neighbor, which is the moon. I think, Sakshi, all eyes are peeled only and only on the moon today. Nothing much is happening. Whether I wear a dark green tie and a green shirt, the Nifty and Bank Nifty are not listening to me, and it's fine. It's okay. That's because two major events are slated. One of them tomorrow, which is the RBI minutes of its August 10th policy. That will give a peek into inflation. The market and the economy have gone, and the government have gone into an overdrive to control prices of essential vegetables like onions and tomatoes. So that headline inflation number will decrease. And of course, the Jackson Hole event that starts tomorrow, and the result will be out in Washington on Friday. So Thursday and Friday is what macro will be digested in the markets, and that's the reason why both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are range bound. They are trading in a very, very narrow range. You see a lot of base building in options data for Nifty in the zone of 19,300 and 19,400. We've seen several bounces happening from that area, and that's the 50-day exponential moving average for the Nifty. The Bank Nifty is, of course, consolidating between 43,800 to 44,000, and that's the 100-day exponential moving average. If you see the daily charts, which will come right in front of you for the Nifty at least, you'll see that it's just into a very, very tight, narrow range, and it's awaiting directions from these two major events. So, Sakshi, nothing is going to happen on Nifty and Bank Nifty. Any dip towards 19,300 will be purchased by bulls as they defend that sacrosanct level of the 50 EMA, and any move towards 19,500, 19,450, 19,475 will be sold into, because these are the two very, very strong pillars of support and resistance, 19,300 and 19,500 respectively for the Nifty. And the issue here is that there is absolutely no traction in index heavyweights. You saw some wonderful data on Nifty draggers. All the four major banks and RIL are there. and that's the reason why the Nifty is not moving an inch in the upward direction. Any move towards 19,500, 475, 450 gets sold into, and that's the reason, because none of the banks and sadly RIL are not moving in the direction of up north. That's the reason why the entire market, Sakshi, is focused on cash stocks. Just see the amount of demand coming in for defense counters. Just see the amount of demand coming for PSU banks, railway stocks, under ownership, undervaluation, relative margin of safety in terms of price, are all attracting traders to these 2 or 3 very big investment themes in the market at the moment, which are giving good trading bounces. So that's where the action is, and of course, as you rightly said, a billion hopes are aimed at the moon today.
Absolutely. For all the Nifty Bank viewers, of course, like Shail pointed out, it has been on a declining trend. It has declined in 8 out of the last 9 trading sessions. The index continues to struggle in that 400-point range between 4,300, 700 on the downside and 44,150 on the upside as well. So, Shail, any breather expected today? Of course, these big draggers that you talked about, 4 of the big banks that contributed on the downside on the index yesterday. Any hopes for this one to return into the green today at all?
Sakshi, if you see the Bank Nifty chart, it actually ended flat, at 43,993. And the most interesting part is that the 2 major events that are from the RBI and of course the Jackson Hole event are aimed directly at the global banking space. Yesterday's high was 44,150 and the low was 43,930. So it's very rare for a Bank Nifty that vacillates and oscillates for a 700-point daily trading range to just be content with 250 points. So you can see that everybody is waiting for a sense of direction to come from the RBI on its stance on inflation, and of course the global US Fed, which will speak about its ongoing fight with inflation. So these are the 2 things that are likely to impact Bank Nifty's sentiment, and that's the reason, like I said, it's sideways, consolidating, weak, 43,800 on the lower side and 44,200 on the upper side is what the options data suggests. And on August 10th, one important thing that had happened was that the excess liquidity was soaked up by the Reserve Bank of India by employing an additional interim CRR on bank deposits between a certain time frame, leading to that removal of the 2,000 rupee note from the banking system. And now, as we know, that the banking system liquidity has slipped into a deficit for the first time in the current financial year, simply because of these methods employed by the RBI. So banking is not exactly in pain. You can see very, very good action in second rank PSU banking stocks, and like I mentioned, cash is the king and cash is the zone where you will not see intraday selling coming in, because you have to take delivery and then move on. So those are the private sector banks that need to be watched, specifically Bank of Maharashtra, Central Bank, JK Bank. These are the second rank PSU banks after Canara Bank, BOB, PNB, and of course the State Bank of India, which are now right in the center of traders' buy list. So this is all that I'm looking for: cash banks in the PSU space, and maybe a couple of nifty stocks on the long side, especially ITC. Sakshi.
Okay, cash banks, and other than that, some of the nifty stocks rather than the Nifty Bank Index as a whole in today's trading action. And like I said, perhaps the action is likely to be more on the broader market space, with the Nifty Mid Cap Index definitely making an all-time high yesterday. It looks like the Nifty and the Nifty Bank are not going anywhere, but the mid caps and the small caps are in another world altogether, and they are rallying completely. And the small caps just about 200 points away. The small cap index at 12,047, that's the level we'll watch out for. The small cap index today, perhaps that level could be seen hitting today. But what are you expecting to see in the FNO space? What action lies there, and specific stocks if you're watching out for?
Sakshi, I really like this analogy that the small cap and the mid cap index are pointing upwards, looking skywards. सब लोग वही देख रहे हैं, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ. आज सबकी नज़र चांद पे है, तो घर के चांद पे भी और आसमान के चांद पे भी. और मैं आपको बताऊँ, सिर्फ मिड कैप्स और स्मॉल कैप्स में ज़बरदस्त रैली है. We'll start with a very simple stock. Remember BHEL? Fabulous breakout. You'll see the daily chart in front of you. I'll mark just one thing here. Yesterday's volumes were 10 crore shares, and the stock rose 10%. This is the highest level that you've seen since April of 2017. And Sakshi, it was a blowout. I mean, you have breakouts, you have volume buzzers, and you have a combination of volume buzzers and price breakout. And that is what you saw in BHEL today, yesterday. It was the top gaining stock in the F&O space, up 10%. And at that level, there has been a 19% increase in the open interest for this stock, and a 2.8 times higher delivery has come in on Tuesday compared with Monday. Now, while everything looks good on the charts, that doesn't mean that you come in hoping that these gains will continue for the third day in a row. Remember, you see this daily chart in front of you. It's gone up for the second day in a row. So, the most wonderful thing that can happen is that BHEL opens slightly lower than yesterday's close, which is 111.20 on the futures and 111.05 on spot. And then again, people latch onto it. The company had announced a very strong order win. The order book and everything is all in good shape. That's what I'm trying to say. The action, Sakshi, is only in PSU stocks, and BHEL falls squarely in that low ticket item, high beta, deep undervaluation, and huge margin of safety. Remember, the all-time high for BHEL is somewhere like 800 rupees, and the stock was 40 rupees 3 months ago. So that's what I'm trying to say, that the rally is fantastic. And look at BEL. A lot of our technical guests have pointed out this stock. Again, not in the same league as BHEL when it comes to price action. BEL is at a record high of 130 rupees, and again the same 2-day price movement that you see in the positive. It broke out yesterday in terms of price, and the volume is pretty good, about 2x 5 days average in the cash market. And if you look at the F&O stats, a very sharp rise in delivery at about 2.8x, accompanied by a 2.8% rise in open interest. These two stocks, and I don't want to sort of repeatedly mention escorts, but if you see the chart, it is now parabolic. That doesn't mean that you enter after 4 days of continuous rallies, but the chart is fantastic. Record high here. I wish the price ticket were a little smaller, but भाव भगवान छे, जो बाजार भाव देगा आपको वो देखना पड़ेगा. 29.16 in futures, and again, like I said, at this level of price, you have a 23% rise in open interest accompanied by a 5x rise in deliveries, Sakshi. So these are the stocks in the F&O space that I am looking at. These definitely fall in the category of buy the dip, provided you get the dip. Otherwise, if you are invested, don't sell. Better days are ahead for these 2 or 3 stocks, and just ride the rally, but wait for a correction to enter. Sakshi, what are you watching in Wall Street?
Absolutely, Shail. So global cues important to track, like you pointed out, as we inch closer to the Jackson Hole Symposium. The US markets ended mixed overnight amidst concerns of the rising treasury yields and ahead of the key speech of the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell at the symposium. The Dow fell nearly 200 points, while the S&P 500 declined about 0.3%. The Nasdaq managed a small gain right there. But when we talk about the banking space, apart from Moody's, it's S&P that's now begun to downgrade a whole host of banks in the US. The shares of Nvidia were in focus yesterday. They were gaining ahead of the earnings, but towards the close, they paid on the gains as well. So we'll keep an eye out on all of that from the Wall Street. But Asian markets opened marginally lower in the midweek, trading ahead of the business activity figures from Japan and Australia, inflation figures from Singapore. So when we talk about the Asian markets, it's been kind of a mild start for most of the indices right there. Apart from this, when we talk about the indications from the gift nifty, that's also on a muted to soft start. In the Asian markets, you can see Nikkei was up about 0.3% in the early morning trading session, but Kospi, Hang Seng and Shanghai Index slightly down in trade. When we talk about the FII flows, again, the FIIs have been net sellers. They've sold shares worth about 495 odd crore rupees in yesterday's trading session, while the domestic institutional investors purchased 534 odd crore rupees worth of stocks in yesterday's trading action. So that was as far as the action on the global cues is concerned, and that's what we expect. But Shail, on the FIIs front, we've already seen over 1 lakh crore rupees of buying action coming in this entire fiscal year so far from the foreign investors. But just this last 14,000 odd crore rupees of sell-off, is that a bit of a worry or not at all?
Sakshi, I wish you could see any line of worry on my forehead. There is none. 10,500 crore rupees they have taken out over the last maybe 15 sessions. Let them take it out. Last 4 months have been fantastic. Look at mid caps, look at small caps, look at even large caps. There are stocks in the Nifty that have appreciated 20-30% over the last 4 months, and that's primarily because of a very strong sentiment that you saw in by foreign institutional investors. See, if the 10-year treasury yield in the US is 4.5%, globally money will be withdrawn and it will head back towards the dollar. That's what we have seen traditionally over the last 50 years, and that's what is happening. India is an island of relative safety when it comes to equities and of course growth and of course aspirations and hopes. We've heard a lot of major experts who join us regularly on 4 p.m., 11 a.m. Talk about this. A 500-point dip selling by FIIs, I won't be worried, Sakshi. I would rather use this opportunity and the constraining range-bound trade on Nifty and Bank Nifty to soak up on frontline stocks like SBI. Sakshi.
All right. Let's quickly look at some of the stocks that will be important to keep an eye out in today's trading session. Jio Financial Services, 2 days in a row, we've seen 5% lower circuit on this new debutant, and 236 is the price that you saw yesterday. Now, the exclusion from the key indices of Jio Financial Services has now got extended. It was earlier supposed to happen today at the end of the trading session, but now it's got extended by 3 more days because of the lower circuits on 2 consecutive days, first 2 days that we've seen on Jio Financial Services. And likewise, Reliance Industries will also be in focus again today. Apart from this, BEML, that's another stock that you should watch out for. It is backed. There are orders worth about 100 odd crore rupees from Ministry of Defence for the supply of command post vehicles. The stock also was up about 0.5% yesterday at 2082. So continue to watch this space. Control Print, the share buyback opens on August 24, will close on August 30th. The buyback price is 800 rupees. The shares had ended higher by about 2.5% yesterday. So we'll continue to watch out for this stock too. But on the downside, Brightcom Group, that will be important to watch out for. In a first of its kind, SEBI has passed a second interim order against Brightcom Group. It has stopped Brightcom's statutory auditors from engaging with the company. It's barred the CMD and CFO from the board positions. And the market watchdog has also barred them from, working in the securities market until the further notice. The stock was up by 1% yesterday at 24 odd rupees, but may react to this news today. On the railway space, again, the focus will be on rights today. It's emerged as the lowest L1 bidder for tender floated by the Railway Board. The estimated order worth is close to 65-66 odd crore rupees. The shares had ended flat yesterday at about 473 rupees odd. But let's see if this stock gets moving on the news flow as well. Piramal Enterprises, another stock that you should watch out for. It has approved the NCD issue worth 3,000 odd crore rupees, and it will issue secured, rated, listed, redeemable NCDs for the face value of 1,000 rupees each. The share was down about 0.8% yesterday at about 1,058. We'll watch out for this one too. And Bharat Forge, that's been constantly buzzing. The news flow suggests that validity period for corporate guarantee provided from ARM Bharat Forge Aluminium USA has been revised. And the stock will be in focus today. 2.5% uptick was seen in yesterday's trading session for Bharat Forge, and 1,006, that was the level at which we saw Bharat Forge ending the day at. But we'll continue to watch out for if the stock really moves in today's trading session as well. Likewise, a lot of other stocks will also be in focus. But Shail, anything from this basket that interests you that you also would be watching out for?
Sakshi, I have 10-15 stocks in my list, which alternate between PSUs, railway stocks, and so much, and in that particular segment only. While these are the stocks that you mentioned are, of course, news-based, I would rather stick my neck out on where there is actual money deployed, which is either delivery or volume or price. And if this is a combination of all three, that is what is on my list. I've mentioned some of them like BHEL, BEL, Escorts, some bit of IT, but I am gently staying away from news-led events because while both of us are in this fraternity and in this business as employees, but the fact remains that markets work in a very different fashion. They only respect money flow, whether in or out, and that is all that I look at, Sakshi.
Sure. Shail, the brokerage houses have also come out with some key reports, and that's especially on the IT pack. So let's look at two key reports that have come out today. One is Goldman Sachs on LTI Mindtree. The brokerage house has given a buy rating on LTI Mindtree with a target price of 63.10, and it believes that the company is the fastest growing within the coverage that Goldman Sachs has in the Indian IT space. It has the highest margin expansion potential due to the merger synergies as well going forward from here. So that's why they've given a buy rating and a positive on LTI Mindtree as a share. The other stock the brokerage houses are watching out for is TCS, the Tata Consultancy Services, and again Goldman Sachs has come out with a buy rating on this one and a target price of 39.30 on the stock. It also sees the company as a defensive play in a tough demand environment, and it also expects TCS to be a beneficiary of the vendor consolidation given the in-depth vertical expertise as well. So these two stocks will also be on our watch list today after the brokerage houses reports. Some of the other key stocks that have been making headlines and have been looking very, very strong on the charts too. Linde India, that's another stock that we will be tracking out for today, because of course it's been one of the outperformers from the COVID lows, the kind of move that we've seen on Linde India. Yesterday again, we've seen a remarkable move on the upside. About 10-11% of a surge is what we've seen on the stock, and the company has now received an LOA from IOC for setting up an air separation unit for production and supply of instrument air. So that could further provide some upside on this stock too. So apart from the big movers from the F&O basket that you've been watching, Shail, I think Linde India is going to be another interesting one.
Yes, and sadly for many of us, Sakshi, the stock has such a high ticket on it, 5765, 5,765 on the charts. A huge breakout at a record level. Two of the people who frequent Business Today television, Ashish Chatramota and Chandan Tapadia, have repeatedly pointed this stock as a technical buy. Frankly, after 2 days of such strong rally, it would be extremely unwise to enter at these levels. But fact remains that very strong news flow, very strong money flow into the stock, and any kind of inputs or corrections that come into the market on Linde India likely should be with the due checks and balances bought into. So these are the 2 or 3 things that Sakshi is looking at. A couple of other interesting stocks are also on my radar. Let me point that out. I'd like people to keep an eye out on Federal Bank at 136.55. I am presuming that this is an all-time high for the stock. Just a moment. No, it's not an all-time high. The all-time high is 143. We are at 136, but very strong breakouts due on this one too. Strong price action coming in yesterday, accompanied by a nice surge in volume, and of course IDFC and IDFC First Bank. These are 2 stocks at record high levels, and they are also attracting trader interest for ideally the same points. Low ticket item 123 on IDFC, very high beta, which means good volatility, and IDFC First Bank, again the banking space, low ticket, 91 rupees, very high beta. So Sakshi, that's how at least I filter where markets are going and where the money flow is, and that's the reason why we see such price points. Sakshi.
Well, a lot of other stocks also will be in focus, so let's take them one on one and just see some more stocks that will be buzzing today. Hindalco, that will be in focus. Of course, the metal space has been buzzing. It was the top gaining index yesterday from the Nifty space as well. The company will be investing about 2,000 crores for first ever copper and e-waste recycling facility. So that's likely to keep Hindalco buzzing. 450 yesterday odd it ended the day at, and the entire metal pack will also be interesting to watch out for again today. Another space that has been on the top list of most of the experts who we've been speaking to over the last few trading sessions is the pharma pack and the growing possibilities of another cycle emerging in the pharma stories. So Marksans Pharma is again going to be important to watch out for from the news perspective today. The company has gained on US FDA nod to flu drug as well, and that's going to be a positive development that might and the stock might react to this positive story too. Apart from this, Zydus Life, that's another stock that will be in focus. The company will complete the acquisition of 6.5% stake in MyLab Discovery Solutions in the next 20-30 days as well. So this also is a positive development, might be on the positive strength today. Zydus Life, that's another stock that we should watch out for. And apart from this, let's also watch out for some of the other stocks like Shriram Properties. The stock has been in focus. It's been also doing well, but the news flow today is slightly on the negative side. Omega TC Sabre Holdings has sold about 39 lakh shares or 2.3% at 78.44 rupees. So that stock might react to this news flow too. Another stock that I'm watching out for is Axis Cades. Now the company has completed the acquisition of GmbH and strengthening its position in the automotive vertical and enhancing its presence in Germany again. So these are the other key stocks that we will be watching out for as far as the stocks in news is concerned, Shail.
Yes, actually, let's pay attention to how the pre-open is clicking on prices. Very nice green tick on the market, at least in the initial 1 or 2 minutes. The Nifty is up 106 points at 19,500. I'm sure this number will correct lower. But let's enjoy the prices till they are there. ICICI Bank 1.8% higher amongst the index heavyweights, 969.65. Reliance is 0.8% higher, 25.40. SBI is 0.8% higher, 573. Let's look at FNO. I'm just barely touching upon these because our guest, Mr. Milin Vasudev, has joined in. TVS Motors 3% higher, BHEL 3% higher. I want to see what NTPC is doing, 0.8% higher. How about HCL Tech, 3.5% higher, 12.19. I remember these rates will settle down sensibly. Just look at Nifty 500. Sakshi, it's going to be a pharma day, I think. Again, 52-week high on Torrent Pharma. 1.2% higher, 1980. I saw Cipla in the green, 2.5% higher, 1250. What else is ticking? CAT, 3% higher, 2428. That's how the market is. And without further delay, let's welcome our guest, Mr. Milind Vasudev. He's the Senior Technical Research Analyst at Arihant Capital Markets. Namaste, Milindji. Welcome on T-1 to BTTV. I know all eyes are on small caps and mid caps, but one very quick view on the Nifty. 19,400, 450 seems to be with the bulls. What do the charts tell you?
Good morning, Shailji. If you remember last time I was on the show, I said that 19,300 is a make or break level. Unless and until on a daily closing, we should get a close below 19,300. But we are not getting any close below 19,300. And 19,300 is also the 50-day SMA on spot Nifty. So it is holding nicely. And today, again, EGX Nifty is up on the by 100 points. So we would have a positive opening only. But yes, definitely, if you see yesterday also, there was a good buying happening in mid and small cap counters. Even the breadth of the market was good. If you see Nifty 500, Nifty 500 is outperforming Nifty index because Nifty 500 is trading slightly above 20-day moving average line. So it is trading well above the short-term moving average line, whereas Nifty is not trading above 20-day moving average line. So clearly there is a lot of activity going on in mid and small cap counters. But yes, I'm also positive on Nifty. If it holds 19,300, then you could see the levels of 19,500, 19,600 to an outer extent of 19,700.
Right. And Mr. Vasudev, we remember you very fondly. Ladies and gentlemen, the PCR will fire a chart of Garden Reach Shipbuilders. Last week, when Milind Bhai was with us, he had pointed this stock out pre-market that it would rally on the long side. And lo behold, I think that was 16th of August when he joined us. The stock was the top gainer. Then I think it rose somewhere like 12-13%. So we remember all your picks, sir. And since time is short, would you want to discuss one or two trades that might work out really well on the long or the short side today? Milind Bhai.
See, if you see, there are two stocks which I'm liking. One is VSSL, that is Vardhaman Steel, which is currently trading at 217. Aggressive trader can keep a stop loss of 205, and the target would be 231 and 244. The second stock which has seen a good buying with huge volume was BHEL, which is currently trading at 111 with a stop loss of 103 and a target price of 127. Could be achievable 127, 135 to an outer extent of 144 in a couple of days' time.
Okay, so there is a second vote of confidence on BHEL for today's trade. Of course, this is a medium-term target of about 127 on BHEL. That is what you should look at. Any dips towards, maybe 105, 107, 108 need to be purchased. Milind Bhai, staying on BHEL, sharp breakout yesterday, very high volumes. Would an immediate entry be more sensible, or should a sensible trader pause?
See, actually, if you get very close to somewhere around 113 and 114, because it will open up with a gap. But then on a decline in the range of, say, 110, 108, one should try to get in. And then on the higher side, you could expect a move towards 120, 27, what I've said. And it would be a very good trade in today's trading.
Wonderful. So two stocks coming in from Milind Bhai. BHEL, no let up. It closed at 111.05 on spot, and it's opening 2% higher. Let's hope and pray you get in a good entry point. And of course, Vardhaman Special Steels, third day of rally, 217. Also the right time to welcome our other guest and dear friend, Mr. Vineet Bojlinkar. Namaste Vineet bhai. What looks interesting on fundamentals at the current level? As Sakshi was pointing out, everything is hitting the sky in the mid cap and the large cap space. What interests you still?
So we have a bias towards PSU stocks, and that is taking cues from what the Prime Minister had alluded to in his speech, advising the opposition to invest in PSU stocks, and he was scoffed at. Since then, the stocks have been rallying very well. BHL is one of the stocks which has moved well, and if you see the recent order that they won from Adani for 4,000 crore yesterday, because of which the stock moved up. Important to understand is that investment is coal is continuing. So Adani has announced mega plans to invest in coal till 2030. And mind you, there are not many competitors who are vying for that business of the boilers for coal-fired power plants because of lack of interesting order book. So so BHEL has got the monopoly. L&T is out of it. Thermax is keeping out of it. So BHEL is really, really going to do well because they have multiple orders on which they have to deliver over the next 3 to 4 years. So I think there is a case for BHEL to do well. Apart from this, the defense and the railway orders that are kicking in and their AMC business, I think there is going to be a road to profitability improving very sharply. And we will be having some interesting surprises. So, with 4 verticals, cap goods, power segment, railways and defense, all, areas of interest for investors, I think this stock will be in the reckoning over the next few months.
So, Vineet bhai, we just need to clarify. You spoke about BHEL, right? Not BEL.
Yes. No, I spoke about BHEL.
Bharat Heavy.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is consensus on BT television. BHEL is what you need to look at. It's a fundamental thumbs up from Vineet. Technically, as Milen bhai mentioned, it's roaring ahead and it's settled about 2.5% higher. Remember, this is the highest level that you've seen since May of 2017. So that's 3 plus 3, 6-year high. And remember, the margin of safety even now after such a sharp rally is huge. The all-time high is somewhere like 800. Now, Milen bhai, I'll come back to you. There is broad consensus, and markets really don't work when everybody is thinking on the same lines when it specifically comes to technicals. So tell me a great support level on BHEL, just in case it corrects and you get a better price point than 113. What would be a good zone to buy into it?
Was somewhere around 106 levels, and then it closed on a very strong note with huge volume, and the close was at 111. Now we are opening at 113, but if you don't get a chance, then the risk to reward ratio would not be in your favor. Still, if you are an aggressive trader, I would say that then you can buy at current level or on a decline up to 109. Keep a aggressive stop loss of 106 or 104. And then you could expect a move towards 121, 25 in today's trading session.
Right. So BHEL is what you should look at. And one stock, Sakshi, I'd like to mark out, which is MTAR Technologies. Remember, this is a direct play on ISRO. And this is a company that supplies a lot of critical components to India's space program, and it's opened about 2.2% higher at about 2116. This is pure news play, but this is what you need to look at. Nifty settled at 19440, 42 points higher. Nifty Bank has settled 71 points higher at 44,064. And in the cash segment, I see lots of companies like KNR Construction. Remember, we spoke about this yesterday. It was a top pick by one of the fundamental analysts from SBI. It's opening 273 rupees at. Sakshi, what have you watched in pre-open?
In fact, Shail, I'm glad that you talked about MTR Technologies, and I wanted to discuss with Vineet some of the stocks that are linked to Chandrayaan. You know, L&T, for example, Bhatnagar Industries, all of these stocks we will keep an eye out on today because they've all somehow or the other contributed to India's moon mission. Vineet, anything that we've discussed this often on BTTV as well, on other Market Today shows too, but you know, your top pick when it comes to Chandrayaan 3 and the stocks that are linked to it?
Definitely MTAR.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, MTR Tech. What about Milleen? Milleen, what targets do you see for MTR Technologies? It's up by 2.2% today at 2164. Is that also a top pick from your side, from the key players that have contributed to Chandrayaan 3? All right, we'll try and fix Milleen's audio. I think he's not getting my audio. Please do let us know, Milleen, if the audio gets better on your side as well. If you can hear, I wanted to understand from you your target price for MTR Technologies.
See, currently, if you see for last 3 trading session, it has corrected and it has come very close to the 50-day moving average at 2064. But yes, technical setup is not there at present. It has opened up with a gap, but it has got a lot of supply again at say somewhere around say 2200, 2220 levels. But again, in today's trading session, if it moves very sharply with high volumes, then yes, the interest would be there in this counter. But at present, technically, I would not recommend this.
Right. Now we will wait for markets to open. Remember, it's T-1, and both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are extremely range bound. Let's look at how they've opened. Okay, 19,425 on on Nifty, up 24 points. Flat on Bank Nifty, 44,000 right in front of me. The Nifty IT index has opened in the green, as has the broader NSE 500. Let's shift focus immediately to index heavyweights. Infosys and TCS. These are two stocks that are in the green. Infosys 1411, 0.5% higher. TCS 0.3% higher, 3393. You will keep an eye out for high beta in mid-cap IT in case you want alongside trades there. What is Reliance doing? Reliance is flat, 2522. And what is HDFC Bank doing? Flat at 1580. How about ICICI Bank? It's again flat, 951. So nothing much expected from Bank Nifty, at least in initial trades. And we've had 19,450 as the most immediate high for the first 1 or 2 minutes on the Nifty. This is the area of the first resistance, and at the moment at 19,411. Like I pointed out, 19,450, 19,500 are huge resistance levels, and those are the ones that are providing very, very strong resistance to any up move. Top gainers in FNO, Cipla 2.5% higher, 1251. Hindustan Copper 1.2% higher, and in BAN at 146.60. What else is sticking on FNO? Let's immediately shift focus to NSE 500. Sakshi pointed out Linde India, top gainer, breached 6,000, up 3.5% at a record high. BEML taking it away, 2.65% higher, 2136. These are all news-based stocks. I need to know what is BHEL doing. BHEL is flat, 111.30, 0.2% higher, and already the third most active counter in terms of volume on the NSE. Adani Power, the rally is unstoppable, 3.5% higher, 358. Let's look at the defense high beta space. What's sticking well? MTAR Technologies, 2.7% higher, 2178. Remember, this is the market's moonshot for ISRO. Hindustan Aeronautics, 0.8% higher, 3921. What else is in the green? Okay, so these are the stocks that I see immediately. And of course, high beta like Suzlon, high beta like Laurus Labs, all in the green. Let's shift immediately to Milleen. Milleen, markets have opened 2 minutes into trade. Nifty and Bank Nifty flat. What is on your radar?
If you see, I've got, even if you see Everest Industry is one stock which yesterday we had recommended to our clients. So definitely it looks good on the charts. My software is getting hung. I don't know, I'm getting a problem in my software. So can you pass this question to somebody else? I'll just get back.
No issues. Yes. Yeah, Milin bhai. Reliance now kicking in. The change that it's providing into the Nifty is 11 points, and at 2532 is sticking into the day's high levels. This is how the markets are at the moment. Again, let me give you some price points. 15 points higher on the Nifty, 19,411. Bank Nifty is now in the red, 20 points lower, 43,971. Let's shift focus to the broader markets. I'll tell you the advanced decline is 1247 stocks in the green versus 700 in the red. The Nifty Metal Index is the top gainer, 0.73% higher. Mid Cap 100, as Sakshi repeatedly points out, is aiming for the skies. Fresh record high, 38,706, 0.4% higher. And it's the Nifty Bank which is an underperformer, and Nifty Pharma is of course in the red. Hotel stocks taking it away in the cash market, and of course Titan. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Shail, right, you pointed out, the metal index, and we talked about Hindalco. Of course, news flows there, but 2.2% high in trade. Another stock that has been buzzing off late in the metal action is Hindustan Copper. It's up by 1.4% again. NMDC, Steel Authority, Jindal Stainless, Tata Steel, Nalco, all of them are buzzing in trade. Apart from this, of course, you pointed out Adani Power, but again, the entire Adani basket is buzzing. Adani Enterprises again the top Nifty gain. Adani Ports is again up by 0.03% in trade again today. So the Adani basket will be important to watch out for. The pharma space, like you pointed out, Cipla again is the top gainer on the F&O basket. And when we talk about the other pharma names as well, they are also ticking up in trade. But let me first come to Vineet on the metal space stocks. Vineet, what are you watching out for? Is Hindalco, one of the largest space stocks, a more preferred stock here, or Hindustan Copper that has been on an upward trend? Where would you shift your focus to in the metal action now?
See, I am looking at 3 or 4 ideas: GMDC, NMDC, and Hindustan Copper. Because somewhere these companies are getting aligned with lithium extraction, and the policy is going to be out soon, and they're going to be bidding for these when they're coming out. NMDC is coming with a Australian partner who specializes in lithium mining. So I think there are good players out here, and these are some of the stocks that would look to benefit from the new policy that is announced.
Okay. Hindustan Copper, remember, it's in the F&O ban, so only cash options, cash positions can be taken right there and only on the long side. But let's look at MTAR Technologies once again. We discussed with both our guests this stock. Shail pointed this stock again, and it's running away. MTAR Technologies right now 4% higher at 2205. Very, very strong run up coming in. Does it still make sense, to buy at 2205? 2205, and somebody who has a long-term vision, say a 1 year period or a 3 year period, 1 to 3 year period, is it a good time to accumulate this stock?
Definitely, one should be looking at MTA Technologies very seriously because it is into all the right spaces that take off, investment themes, be it batteries, be it the, the space and other high tech areas. So I think, accumulating and buying, in a SIP mode is more what I would advocate, given that the price is in a momentum band.
Okay, let's look at stocks in the cash segment which are showing record highs. Remember, Nifty and Bank Nifty are flat, and it's the NSE 500, as Milene so rightly pointed out, outperforming the main indices. Okay, BEL record high, 0.5% higher, 134. Remember, this is something which is ticking very, very well on the charts. Also in the defense space, record high is BEML. This is fresh order flow, 2177, 4.5% higher. 3 lakh shares have already been traded. Let's look at Bharat Forge. Remember, this is one stock that we've talked about often. Fresh record high, 1016 in front of you, 1% higher. 1,75,000 shares have been traded. Again, order flow from the defense side. Let's look at volume buzzers, stocks that have shown an increase in volume in the first 10 minutes of trade. I can't take my eyes away from Linde India, 3.5% higher, volume already 2x. Sakshi pointed this out, 59.55 in front of you. We have BHEL. Now this is very interesting. The stock is down about 1% at 110 rupees, and the average volume is already 0.5 times 5-day average at about 1 crore 23 lakh shares. This is something that needs to be looked at, but it's the defense space that is taking it away. Milene, if your charts are working, give me a strong defense pick. Days high on HAL, record high on BEML and BEL, and your favorite garden reach shipbuilders also in the green. What looks good?
On the chart, I would say that HAL is a very good chart now. There is a lot of consolidation on the weekly chart, nearly for say 7 to 8 weeks. There is a lot of consolidation in this stock. So one can buy at current levels, keep a stop loss of say somewhere around 100 points stop loss in this stock. And on the higher side, yes, you could expect a dynamic move towards say beyond 4,000, 4,100 to 4,200.
Okay. Milene, would you also look at Escorts at this point in time? It is the top gainer on the auto space as far as the FNO action is concerned. Long build up there, the top gainer as far as the auto FNO space is concerned.
For last 5-6 trading session, we are continuously seeing a higher high formation in Escort. But at current levels, there will be no proper risk to reward to enter in this stock. But yes, those who are holding this stock can trail their stop loss. Can trail their stop loss towards say 2850. On the higher side, yes, it could test the levels of say somewhere around 3,100 to 3,200 in couple of weeks time.
Okay. Vineet, what about you? How does Escorts look to you, or is there any other stock from this auto basket in the current recent move that you're looking at, which now looks promising to you?
So among the auto ancillaries, we like Minda Corporation. We also are bullish on Minda. So these are two stocks from the same group that we are recommending, primarily due to the fact that their portfolio of products is very agnostic to ICE and EVs, and their EV kit value per vehicle is going to explode going ahead. So although the valuations are high for these stocks, their growth factors are very, very strong, and we believe that on a peg adjusted basis, these stocks merit an investment. We see a 30 to 40% upside in both these stocks over the next couple of years.
All right. Let's also look at some of the other consumer durable names that are buzzing in trade right now. From the consumer durables space, Crompton Greaves, Havells, V-Guard, Dixon Technologies. That's been an interesting stock that we've been talking a lot about. Vineet, which is your top pick from the consumer durables? That's one index is definitely on the top gainers sectorally in today's trade.
So, I have a proxy play for the consumer durables. And I think EMIL is a very good play. Electronic Marts of India.
Okay.
The reason being is that, the competition among the brands is very intense. There are multiple brands with no one having great leadership in this segment. And EMIL is opening stores across the country. They're one of the largest chain in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. They're opening new stores in NCR. And every year they're going to be putting up 20 stores as part of the expansion drive. So we expect this segment to do very well. And retail is the play because what brands are going to want to push their products, and these companies deal with they are with specific brands. They're not like a although they are multi-brand stores, but they have a few in each segment. So, there's not the competitive intensity is not that high, and they get a lot of good incentives from the brand companies, and we expect them to clock high digit CAGR growth for the next foreseeable future.
Okay, a very strong move on EMIL, Electronic Smart India, 2% higher at 142 today. But if we look at the monthly chart, it's up by 35 odd percent. Last 6 months, the stock has given 100% returns. 142 currently on EMIL. I'd like to request Mileen here to talk to us about the technicals of the stock as well, and tell us if at this point it will be a good entry point for investors despite the run-up that we've already seen.
Yeah, on the daily chart, clearly making a higher high formation, and at 142, yes, you can enter, or even on a decline up to 138. Keep a stop loss of 128 on the higher side. You could expect a move towards, say, somewhere around 156, 162 to an outer extent of 176 in a couple of weeks' time.
Right. Sakshi, I'd just like to point out a couple of things that are happening in the market, and it's the PSU space. It's just taking it away. Unbelievable price action that you see. And I have about 72 stocks in front of me in the PSU space. And Sakshi, only, will you believe it, just 5 or 6 of them are in the red. And the losses are minuscule. Let's look at what is really shining there. Dredging Corporation, 6.7% higher at 535. And this, remember, is not a stock that gets into very, very high volumes. But today about 2.5 lakh shares are already traded. Actually, 22 lakh shares have already been traded. This is a breakout. And this price you've seen earlier in July of 2018. So 2 plus 3, 5-year high on Dredging Corporation. Then the entire, let's look at MMTC and Shipping Corporation of India, 6.7% and 7.8% high. Let's look at manganese ore. This is MOIL, 3.5% higher, 209. Remember, this is all price spotting. Very strong traction coming in all kinds of smaller banks. JK Bank, 3.5% higher, 993. Let's look at PNB. That's also in the green. Bank of Maharashtra, 1.7% higher, 3885. Canara Bank, 0.2% higher, 326. Indian Bank 0.5% higher, 412. All 12 PSU banks making up the Nifty PSU Banking Index are in the green. Punjab and Sindh Bank 3585, 1.5% higher. Let's get to Mileen on this space. Mileen, your top PSU pick apart from BHEL and your top PSU banking pick apart from SBI.
Recently, if you see, there is a good buying happening in Maharashtra Bank, currently trading at 39 levels. Good chartical formation on this chart. And yes, you could keep a stop loss, I say, 36 levels. And on the higher side, you could expect somewhere around 45 to 48 levels in couple of days' time. So Maharashtra Bank is looking nice.
Let's get Vineet into the conversation, and the PCR is going to fire a chart of Gujarat Mineral Development Corporation at 20265. Again, a very high beta and extremely undervalued stock. Before Mileen comes in technically on GMDC, Vineet, what do you think?
See, I would look at strategic appointment of person. So Hasmukh Adia has been cited on the company. He is very close to the PM, and I believe that his positioning there, is kind of a signal to follow and say that this company is going to get some kind of a leadership position in the mineral mining space. So I think I will go ahead with this company. I will be invested. It's a very, very undervalued share. And, so the margin of safety is on your side. And this stock could probably be, if the Modi government returns, for the third term, then this would be one stock which will be cited by everybody.
Wonderful. Mileen, coming to you on GMDC. The price point that you see on 203.05 is obviously escalatory over the last 4 or 5 days, but this is something that we've seen in April of 2022, and before that in 213 about 10 years ago. What are the charts telling you in the medium term?
Well, if you see the weekly chart now, for last 4 weeks, it was consolidating, and now currently it has given a breakout with huge volume. Now, yesterday the breakout was at 187, and the stock closed well above it. And yesterday's close was 195. At present, it is currently trading at 203 levels. Now, if you see, it is clearly outperforming the benchmark indices. Even the momentum indicators are positively poised. It clearly shows that yes, there is a steam in this stock. On the higher side, it is likely to test somewhere around 212, 220 levels in couple of days' time.
Okay. Let's look at some of this.
So this is a broader view. Yes, Sakshi, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay, so Shail, I was looking at some of the stocks which we had pointed out in the stocks to watch list again, and they are buzzing quite sharply. Shriram Properties, like I had pointed out, that stock is up nearly 5% in trade today. So I wanted Mileen's view on that. Shriram Properties, if you can look at the charts and tell us, what are they indicating? About 83.90 currently, 5.5% uptick for this one as well. And one more stock that we had discussed, of course, BEML, which we've been constantly talking about, and the stock is now up 3.5%, and this is after the order inflow, 2144 currently. Mileen, if you could point out your view on these two.
See, first I'll speak on BEML. Yes, currently it is trading at 2145 levels. Clearly, it is making a higher high formation, again outperforming the benchmark indices. It has got good support at somewhere around 2120, 2100. One can enter at current levels. On the higher side, yes, it could test the levels of say somewhere around 2200, 2250 levels in couple of days time.
So defense is on the offense. I never shy away from saying this. And if you have a space kicker involved, which MTAR does, which Hindustan Aeronautics does, which BEML to some extent does, you have a winner on your hands. And if you are a PSU stock, फिर तो सोने पे सुहागा. Great traction coming in. Let's look at, let's get back to Milin. And let's try and find out a sensible view on Bharat Forge. Vineet bhai, I'll also request you to keep your thoughts on Bharat Forge ready. Normally I don't talk on stocks which are at record highs because that's a little painful exercise to buy at that levels. But Milind bhai, what are the charts telling you on Bharat Forge in the long term?
Well, you have rightly pointed out that for last 4 weeks, this stock is on fire, and clearly it is at the highest point. So currently there is no risk to reward ratio in this counter. But yes, someone who is holding this stock at current levels can keep a stop loss of 960. On the higher side, yes, you could expect somewhere around 1050 to 1100 levels in couple of days time.
Vineet bhai, over to you on Bharat Forge.
Bharat Forge is one of the few plays which are having a good exposure to all the cap goods as well as defense as well as the the aerospace industry. So we are seeing the stock move up very strongly, and our expectation is that forging industry will do very well given the fact that manufacturing is moving to India in a very strong way. So we like this stock, but we have coverage on another stock from the same group, but it has already met its target, so there's no point talking about it. But Bharat Forge, I think definitely is a good story. It's moved up at all-time highs, and I think you should be buying it more on declines rather than chasing the stock.
हाँ विनीत भाई, अपने दिल में कुछ मत रखिए. जो भी आपने स्टॉक डिस्कस किया जिसका टारगेट हिट हुआ है, लेट्स सेलिब्रेट इट. नेम इट.
I'm not recollecting the name, so I'm just avoided mentioning.
Okay. Let's look at Linde India once.
Not Nelcast India.
Oh, let's look at Linde India once again. And before we thank you, Vineet, one more time, Linde India, a stock that's been soaring high again, 6.5% uptick right now coming in at 61.18, 61.35 right now coming in on Linde India. It's a very high ticket stock currently, but the way it has been on the move, somebody who has an appetite for these high ticket stocks, what should one do?
I think these are great franchises to own from a very long-term point of view. If you're going to be a decadal investor, a very long-term investor, these are stocks with wealth generation ideas, steady compounders, and they're in the perfect consumable space with a lot of price elasticity. So I think that is one stock that should be part of your portfolio for a long term.
Okay. Many thanks then, Vineet, for being with us and sharing some wonderful stock ideas. We'll continue to watch out for the way BHEL moves. GMDC you pointed out, so we'll watch out for that. We'll also watch out for some auto ancillary stocks like Minda Corp you pointed out and Hero Minda. And we'll continue to track these until we meet next time on Market Today. So many thanks for being with us. Always a pleasure having you with us. But Milin, Linde India charts, what do they suggest to you? And any other stock that in the interim that you've spotted right now?
If you see Linde India has gone up on 3 continuous trading sessions. So risk to reward will be not in your favor. But yes, I would just say that holding this stock can keep a 100 rupees stop loss on it. And on the higher side, yes, you could expect some more move in this towards say 6200, 6300 levels. Just now I had mentioned about GMDC. See, GMDC is a positional bet, I feel. If you have got an appetite of holding this stock for say nearly 1 or 2 weeks, yes, you could get a good move towards say 217, 224 to an outer extent of 236. So we are very positive on GMDC.
Right. Mileen, another space, are you watching out for the pharma and the healthcare pack today? Max Healthcare has been a stock that has been on the move. 1.5% again uptick in today's trading action. The high it touched today is 581. 630 is the 52-week highs. Again, Cipla. It's trading 1.5% up in trade. We have Glenmark Pharma, Divis Labs, Oro Pharma, Lupin, all of them buzzing in action. Any pharma counter or healthcare counter that looks promising to you now?
First stock which you have mentioned, that is Max Health. If you see, it made a high of say somewhere around 500 and 630 levels, and from there it has uh, sharply corrected to the lower levels, and it tested it came very close to the 200-day moving average line, made a low of 508, and today we have seen a sharp move, which suggests clearly that yes, this stock has got a potential to go on the higher side. Now, one can really buy this stock with today's low as your stop loss. On the higher side, yes, you could expect a move towards say 600 and 630 in couple of days' time.
Right. Sakshi, a couple of stocks I'd like to mark, and we'll get Mileen's attention on them. The PCR will fire Tata Communications. This is at the day's high. Fabulous balance sheet, and very well respected by the market for its profit and profitability. What are the charts saying to you, Mileen? Second day of a fresh up move. 1800 for you, and the record high is 1817.
See, Shell, if you see this stock on the weekly chart, it is maintaining a high formation. Again, this stock is outperforming the benchmark indices clearly. If you see the momentum indicator, namely the MACD, and today MACD has given a positive crossover, that to about the zero line, which clearly suggests that yes, this stock has got much more steam to go on the higher side. Now, on this, one can enter this stock at current price. And keep a stop loss say somewhere around 1750, 1750 on the higher side. You could expect 1850 to 1900 levels in couple of months.
Okay. Sakshi, a couple of stocks taking it away. KPIT Tech, remember I had highlighted mid-cap IT for you, fresh record high. Mileen bhai, what does one do with KPIT? Ride this momentum or stay away?
Definitely, one has to ride this momentum in this stock. Now, if you see on, say, 23rd August, you had seen a good price action with good volume, and then a slight consolidation for nearly 7 to 8 days, and that too with less volume. That clearly says that there is a contraction in the volume. Anytime you could see an expansion in this volume, and this stock is likely to head higher going forward, and one can buy at current levels with a stop loss of 1120, and on the higher side 1200, 1220 to outer extent of 1250 levels could be possible.
Okay, Mileen, please do stay on with us. We will discuss with you some stocks further, but let's shift focus to our corporate radar section. The company on our radar today is Patel Engineering, and it is a 73-year-old construction company specializing into the hydropower generation and irrigation sectors. It has recently been designated as the lowest successful bidder for a joint venture contract worth about 1275 odd crore rupees from the government of Madhya Pradesh. The stock rallied to 52-week highs post the news also in yesterday's trading action. The company has recently released its earnings as well. So we will discuss all of this with the top management now joining us. Kavita Srivaikar now joins us. She's the CFO and whole-time director of Patel Engineering. Welcome, Kavita, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion on Business Today TV. So congratulations on this order. Could you share with us first up more key details on this order, the execution timelines, and where has this order now taken your current order book to?
So it is a Narmada Gambhir project. It is a water supply project. It includes the scope of maintenance, water treatment plant, pipeline. It will help to reach the water to the 50,000 houses. It is in the Madhya Pradesh. The duration is 24 months. We have to complete this project in 24 months. It is in JV. Our share is around 440 crores in the project.
Okay. Kavita, if you could also tell us, last time in FY23, you had orders worth about 7,700 crore rupees. What is the order book visibility that you have? And for FY24, what is the outlook?
Outlook remains the same. We expect, and there is outlook is positive. We expect to continue the same. We expect around 10% growth in our order book in the current year.
Right. Kavita ji, welcome to Business Today Television. And I'm sure this is one of those wonderful Goldilocks moments for construction majors to be there in the Indian economy. I'm sure there is a waiting list of people wanting to meet you in your CMD chamber, trying to give you orders, trying to get construction in, and trying to get ahead in terms of the order work to just get the project delivered on time or behind time, on time or before time. Tell us some granular things about the broader order book that you have. Which sector is coming to you in terms of repeated requirements, and where exactly is the biggest demand coming in?
Our current order book is around 20,000 crore. 61% is coming from hydro sector, around 20% is from irrigation sector, and balance is from tunneling and other sector. If you see the sector which we are operating, we have a strong pre-qualification in hydro. We are 73-year-old company, so we have a track record of completing large complex projects. So now coming to hydro sector, we see there is a huge opportunity available in the sector. Recently, Arunachal government signed MOU with NHPC in the SJVNL for 8,900 megawatt project. So our outlook is positive. The sector which we operate in next 7 years, if you see, there is 27 gigawatt hydropower. Government is planned to put up 27 gigawatt project in next 7 years. And like segment wise, large hydro projects, yeah.
Fair point. So hydropower is where the biggest chunk is coming in, and remember there are only government players in this space. So on record highs are NHPC, on record highs are Satluj Jal Vikas Nigam Limited. I am sure both of them are clients of Patel Engineering. Kavita ji, taking this discussion forward, I'm sure you don't compromise on margins at all. Either accept our price point for construction or go somewhere else. Could you please elaborate on how margin expansion looks to you for Patel Engineering and for the broader construction sector as well?
Yeah, sure. See, our margin is, if you see last 2 years, it is EBITDA margin is around 13 to 15%. It varies from sector to sector. Hydro, high risk, high margin. So largely it is range in the 14 to 15%. Irrigation, it ranges from 12 to 15%. So our on an average EBITDA margin is around 14 to 15%.
Okay. Kavita ji.
Okay, and where is it headed?
We expect to continue the same, maintain the same. More or less, it will be on the same line.
Okay. Kavita ji, on your debt reduction plans, I wanted to take your view. I remember in the last 4 years, you've reduced your debt quite substantially. It used to be about 5,000 odd crore rupees. It's come down to 1750 odd crore rupees. What is the plan going forward from here? How much do you plan to reduce now it to?
See, we have, as you mentioned, we have substantially reduced our debt in the past. So our current debt standalone level, it is 1750 crore, and consolidated it is 1950 crore. So we have further assets to monetize. We have some land parcels in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu. We have certain land parcels which we are in the process of monetize. Further, we have certain claims under arbitration which we are in the process of realizing. So current year, in next 2 to 3 years, we have a target to reduce debt of around 500 crores in next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, okay. And like you pointed out on the acquisition of land parcels, you already have 1,000 odd crore rupees and pending orders worth about 5,000 odd crore rupees. And this is largely in Chennai, Bengaluru and Hyderabad. Any other geographies that you're looking to acquire land parcels now?
No, we have no such plans.
Okay. Also on the visibility on the bottom line now. Just wanted to ask you, you've had a very strong quarterly, profit growth in Q1, 284% surge to about 130 crore rupees. For FY24, if I can ask you, what is your own internal target for this?
So FY24, we expect to our EBITDA margin will remain more or less in the our target like the 14 to 15%. And net profit, see this includes 130 crore, includes exceptional, which we sold our stake in our subsidiary, 40% stake in our subsidiary. So it includes that profit also. So normal operational profitability, we expect to maintain in line of last year.
Kavita ji, what about funding requirements? Construction is a very heavy working capital intensive business, and I am sure, given the sharp rally on your stock price from a low of somewhere like 14 rupees in April to about 53 now, you must be having a line of people wanting to get qualified institutional placements at these levels. I'd like to point out that the all-time high that people have seen on the stock is 1054. This was in 2008. Of course, those lovely glorious days are not coming back immediately, but from a low of about 14 rupees in April to 55 now, Kavita ji, do you cut your phone often from brokerages, from mutual funds wanting to get into it very quickly?
No, fine. See, we right now, as you see, we are in the process of reducing our debt. We have not increased our debt. While last 4 years, our order book increased from 7,000 to 20,000 crore, but our debt reduced from 5,000 to 2,000 crore. So, we are not in that process of increasing our debt. And we are well managing our working
Raising
capital.
equity via QIP.
As of now,
So there are no fundraising plans, but there.
As of
Okay.
now, there are no such plans.
Fine, ma'am. Yes, of course. What about expanding overseas in the Middle East? What part of your order book comes from overseas clients, and are you looking to expand beyond the Indian geography?
We are, apart from India, we are working in Nepal. We are working with SJVNL, Satluj Jal Vidyut Nigam. They have formed a subsidiary there. Nepal, we are working in Nepal. And we are looking for more projects in Nepal. Nepal, Bhutan, we are evaluating certain options.
All right. Well, on that note, Kavita ji, many thanks for being with us on Business Today TV, discussing all these insights about the latest order inflow and your earnings as well. All the very best for the
Thank
future
you.
quarters, and we shall hope to interact again on BTTV. Many thanks for being with us. Meanwhile, Milene is with us. Milene, I'd like to come to you now. First of all, the remarkable rally that Shail pointed out on Patel Engineering, about a 290% surge on the stock in just 3 years. Past 3 months, 120% move as well. Do you track Patel Engineering at all?
See, definitely, when there is a sharp move in any stock and then it consolidates, then it attracts any technical analyst. And I'm sure that this stock which is making a higher high formation on the daily chart, clearly at present, clearly outperforming the benchmark indices also. Now, this stock has got good support at around, say, somewhere around 52 to 50 levels. So if it comes down to that level, then yes, one can initiate a long in this with a stop loss of 48. On the higher side, you could expect a move towards, say, 60, 65 levels in a couple of days' time.
Okay, that is how the markets are at the moment, Sakshi. A bit of a pain on the Nifty, like I mentioned. Nobody's watching Nifty. Either people are watching the moon, or they are interested only in cash stocks, especially on the banking side. UCO Bank taking it away, 3240. We've never discussed this stock, and it's at day's high. A very sharp breakout here. Would you care to look at the charts, Milene, for UCO Bank?
Clearly, yes, sir, you have rightly mentioned that this has got a very sharp breakout today. After 2 days of a consolidation, also it is making a higher high formation. Now trading at around, say, 32 levels. Good support at around 30. On the higher side, yes, you could expect a good move towards, say, 35 to 36 levels in 1 or 2 days' time.
All right. Well, many thanks then, Milene, for being with us on the show and discussing all these wonderful stocks that you always do on Business Today TV. It's great pleasure to have you with us on BTTV always, and let's catch up next week again to see some more stocks from your basket, some more stock ideas that can definitely help all our viewers ahead. Many thanks, Shail, also for being with us and discussing all of these important stocks that have been buzzing of late in trade. The benchmarks absolutely flattish and in the red zone. 19,382 currently on the Nifty. The Sensex down by 63 odd points at 65,156 currently. We'll watch out for all the momentum in the markets for you throughout the trading session. We'll track this momentum, and of course we will be looking at the main event that is in the evening, Chandrayaan 3. So, a lot of stuff lined up for you on Business Today TV. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and continue to engage with us on our other social media platforms as well. And until then, many thanks for tuning in onto this special edition.
The visionary behind Chandrayaan 2, the man who knows India's moon mission inside out, and the former head of the Indian Space Research Organization. The landing of Chandrayaan 3 means a lot to people across the country, but it will mean more to KC1 than it will mean for most, because for him this is deeply personal. After coming so near with Chandrayaan 2, Mr. Sivan and the whole country saw those images of Mr. Sivan breaking down at the last moment, what he described as the 15 minutes of terror. So to look back at the journey of India's lunar mission as we count down to the landing of Chandrayaan 3, I am delighted and privileged to be joined by K. Sivan on India Today. Mr. Sivan, welcome and thank you so much for your time.